Ben Simmons, we've said it every time. For the people that like have been getting upset with us, we've said it every time. Ben Simmons would be an amazing fit on the Timberwolves. But Ben Simmons isn't taking the Timberwolves anywhere if it's Ben Simmons and Cat. And they gave up D'Lo and Anthony Edwards. Like, Ben Simmons and Cat aren't going anywhere.
Right.
They'll do what the Sixers are doing. They're going to the playoffs and then get home.
You have to add him to a team that has those stars, and you have to keep those stars.
And is the Timberwolves' goal to make the playoffs? Or is the Timberwolves' goal to try to win the championship in 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, if you get rid of D'Angelo Russell or Anthony Edwards and you get Ben Simmons, you're going to make the playoffs, but you're not going to threaten.
Is that what you think your peak is? Like, it's the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. They have made the playoffs after their long drought. They're not happy yet.
Right. Yeah.
So the Timberwolves shouldn't be happy with just making the playoffs. No team should. No team should be like, at least we made the playoffs. It's like, you didn't win it all.
Any move you can do to win yourself a championship, you do it.
Right. So getting rid of the Timberwolves have to, which is why first round picks have to be included.
Yeah.
So you had what you think is a good final offer.
Yeah, this is what I would do if I was the owner of the Timberwolves. If I was A-Rod or Mike Laurie.
Right, not Glenn Taylor. But before we move them to Seattle.
I also saw something that apparently Timberwolves ownerships are fine going into the luxury tax.
Good. They should.
Yeah. So
any team that tries to not go into the luxury tax probably isn't winning anything.
Yeah. So my final offer for Ben Simmons, and you can subtract some if you want to, but this is just the max I'd be giving. Okay. So Malik Beasley. Okay. Taurean Prince is available sooner to be traded before Patrick Beverley, because we traded Ricky Rubio for Taurean Prince, a second, and cash, or something like that. So I would include Taurean Prince in that before Patrick Beverley is available, because I think Patrick Beverley is a key piece that we want. So Malik Beasley, Taurean Prince. I would include Josh Okogie. I would include 2022 first-round pick, 2024 first-round pick, and then I believe next year we have three seconds. Yep. So I'd include 2 of those seconds.
So 2 seconds, 2 firsts, Prince, Okogie, and Beasley.
Yes. That would be my final offer for Ben Simmons.
I think the Sixers should jump at that. I think Taurean Prince becomes a bench player for them as opposed to a potential starter for the Timberwolves. I think Malik Beasley for them could be a shooter off the bench, could work his way into the starting lineup if they decide, or like could be in their end of game lineup. Yeah. Like if they need a 3.
He's a better scorer than Danny Green.
He's a better scorer than Danny Green. He's a better shooter than Tobias Harris, not necessarily better scorer. And then Okogie is you're losing Ben Simmons' defense, so you get Okogie's wing defense. You just lose the post defense that you get from Simmons. You lose the scoring that you get from Simmons, and you lose the distributing. But you get to keep the defense.
And you get some picks.
And then you get 4 picks, 2 of them being firsts. And then I would say if I'm the Wolves, I start that by offering that one being lottery protected and the other one being like one of those protections where if it's like a top 20 protected, something like that. And then if you do get top 20, the next year it's unprotected. Right. So I would do that. And then if the Sixers say no, my counter offer would be, okay, both of those picks are unprotected. Yeah. And then my counter offer to that, personally, like I think Sixers should jump at that. I think that is a great signing for both. The Timberwolves lose some scoring and lose their future, but again, Simmons, D'Lo, Ant, McDaniels,
Cat, all on
the same team.
Vando, McLaughlin, all Beverly. On the slate for the next 3 years.
So then you have a potential 3 years. Timberwolves are actually a potential like deep playoff team. Yeah. And
those first round picks that you're giving up aren't going to matter because the first round picks isn't going to do anything for you.
Right. So I think the Sixers should jump at that, and I think Daryl Morey would take those 2 first round picks and move them anyway.
Sure.
So I think they should jump at it, and I think that'd be smart. I get it if the Sixers fans think that that's not enough. If you want to make it enough, maybe add in a 3rd team or switch Taurean Prince for Patrick Beverley when he becomes available. Sure. I don't really want to lose Beverley. I'm not a huge Patrick Beverley fan.
Right.
Just because he's one of those guys, if he's not on your team, you probably don't like him. If he's on your team, you like him type of guys. Now that he's on our team, I feel like I should like him. Right. But because he's never been on our team, I haven't liked him. But I would say I'd get a third team involved, and maybe I propose this to you kind of as a joke, but it might be able to work. You get the Pacers involved. The Timberwolves also want to get Miles Turner.
Right.
Now the Timberwolves either throw in Beverly and Layman as well,
right.
or maybe Beverly and Vanderbilt, one of those two guys they signed, McLaughlin, somebody like that, or just throw in one of those guys. You don't have to include two. Then maybe another first. One of those two firsts that you threw in goes to Pacers. The Pacers maybe throw in a first and another future first to the Sixers, and they give up, or maybe the Sixers give the Pacers Thibault or Maxey or one of their young potential guys. There's some pick swaps in there. If you want to
blockbuster,
if you want more than what your final offer was, you'd have to get a third team involved, because I think what you said, the higher up you can go is making those picks unprotected and swapping Prince for Beverly. I think that's the highest you can go.
Yeah.
The offer that you made, there's very little room. Yeah, so the Sixers could say that's not enough.
Having a lineup out there that's Beverly, Simmons, and Vanderbilt would be a crazy plus defensive team. You have no scoring, but
zero scoring.
But
you'd have slashing.
Yeah. So
and if Beverly's having a good night, he's a decent shooter.
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
Better shooter than me, so but yeah, I think that's about as high as you can go. And what you offered, I think, is fair for both sides, good for both sides, and because of the type of manager Daryl Morey is, he would either turn Prince and those picks into something else. $20 million type of fringe pro all-star level guy. He would turn it into that and keep Okogie for defense, and I think he would do some more work.
Sure.
I think if they are not able to get one of those max contract level players that they've been saying and 6 first-round picks, if they're not able to get that, Daryl Morey will keep trading anyway. So I say if I'm the Sixers, just do it.
Cool.
And there's our obligatory Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that's my final offer.
Yeah, I think that's a fair final offer, and I want Ben Simmons on the team.
Yeah.
Because he fits the team, but we mentioned it. We will not blow up a young roster to do what the Sixers are doing.
Right.
Because the goal isn't to make the playoffs. The goal is to win the championship. Yeah. If the Sixers' goal was to make the playoffs and not win the championship, they wouldn't be trading Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So why would the Timberwolves trade for... Yes, they haven't made the playoffs in forever.
Since Jimmy.
But, and then before that, it was since, Kevin Love.
Yeah.
So your goal shouldn't be the playoffs. They should, after making this trade, they should make the playoffs. But then the Wolves need to keep developing, potentially make another trade next year for somebody if their goal is championship. Exactly. So that's our thing. That's what we have to say. If you don't like it, let us know what you think. We've had some people respond and let us know what they think. So if you have any ideas, feel free to tell us, because that would be our final offer. If you say no, so be it. Both teams move on. Timberwolves will be potentially another, if they stay fully healthy, maybe 8th seed best, out in first round. Play-in tournament, something like that. But if they say yes, I think both teams are in the playoffs. So we'll see.